All right, everyone. We are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Joel, your chief host of the show, and joining me as always is none other than our awesome co-host, Avira.
Hello! Hey, what's up, guys? I'm so glad on this fine Friday night. As your resident orange doggo bad, I'm kind of just basking right now. It just feels good to be orange at this moment. It's fantastic. I hope everyone's doing well tonight.
Have you been asked to
Yeah.
give some speeches as of late?
They told me to do the speeches. I didn't want to do the speeches, but I did the speeches. It was the best speeches, the most orange speeches, if you could believe it. So I did. I did the speeches. Yeah.
That's it, man. Non stop, non stop, and
That's right.
everybody just comes in and nobody leaves your speeches.
I never
All
expire. I'm candy corn.
All right. Next on the panel, we have our always present interim host, Noble.
Good night, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening.
Awesome stuff. And
I'm
next
getting
on
right back into the shit.
the
Sorry.
because it never ends. It just goes
Oh,
and goes.
no. I get a sense of, I wouldn't say pleasure, but enjoyment watching others suffer miserably and be incredibly thick-headed too. There's that.
Naturally. And now also joining us to round out the panel. First, we have Maligos.
It's 2016 all over again.
Well, to put it very mildly, yes, I remember 2016 so well. How could I forget?
Oh, yeah. And we've been working hard on the salt mine.
Yeah. I've been mining, I've been digging, and I've been firing up that song Deja Vu while I'm at it.
True.
And of course, second in the panel we have Azzy.
Hello there. This is Adrian right now, and as he's out a little bit, but he'll be back later on stream. I'll get him
I don't
back
know.
later.
Something tells me that you just basically took Azzy's fur off, and basically all that remains is his skull.
Ah, I've been getting that too. Alright, believe me.
Oh, I don't know. I get you. All right. First and foremost, well, what a way to begin this mood. It's amazing. It's triumphant, but also a little bittersweet as well. As you can see, I've got my somber face on because I am honorably. It is my honor to farewell off my fellow compatriot and his friend Peanuts and Fred.
Right. Now, but before we get too deep into this story, guys, let me just give you a little recap for those of you who don't know. Peanut the squirrel was a very internet famous squirrel. He was a rescue in New York. Him and I'm not going to get into the entire story, but essentially, what happened was he was a rescue squirrel. You know what? This is actually a very sad story. I'm kind of, you know what, Joel? You want to just take it from here?
I'll do it. It is yes.
All
As you
right,
know,
it's just
Peanut is a squirrel that was rescued. He could very well have lost his life because his mother got hit, and then the ranch that took Peanut in basically saved Peanut's life, and for the next 7 years gave
yeah. It was called
everyone so much
Peanut's
joy.
Rescue Farm. Oh, it was so
Yes,
cool.
and now all of a sudden, days later, a bunch of complaints were raised in about about supposedly dangerous wild animal, some dangerous wild animals that may or may not have rabies, and a few months later, a government agency was called in to Peanut's ranch, and sadly, Peanut and Fred were put down.
Mm-hmm. And this was for no reason. Now, I did hear some rumors that there was this woman who complained. The complaints that this environmental protection agency sort of group got was from someone who was jealous that he had more Instagram followers than she did because of the squirrel. Again, this was a domesticated squirrel, a rescue, 7 years, a bunch of videos. It was very well trained. It was an indoor squirrel. It was never at any risk of getting rabies, none of that nonsense. But this individual allegedly is the one who called in all these reports because that's what they said, that they got reports, complaints, mind you, about someone harboring wildlife in their home. Now, technically, in the state of New York, yes, it is illegal to own a squirrel and a raccoon without the proper legal paperwork. I did hear that they were in the process of actually filing that paperwork, like they were in the middle of doing that. Now, I don't know why they waited so long after these 7 years. Maybe they just started doing it because they got these complaints. But the fact is, these, alphabet government agencies came into their home, took this man's pets, and euthanized them. Now, the reason they killed Peanut allegedly, and this is what they say, is that the agent that tried to confiscate the squirrel was bitten by the squirrel, and they said, well, maybe he has rabies, and that the only way to test for rabies is, of course, to kill the animal, and that's what they had to do. Clearly, the squirrel did not have rabies. It was terrified of being ripped out of its home, away from its owner, by this stranger. So no wonder it bit him. Like any gerbil would do that, any hamster, any pet rat, even. Like that's just what they do. So the fact that they killed this squirrel, the internet was outraged. In fact, like they were very unhappy about this. And the memes definitely reflect the culture, I would say.
You really wouldn't want to be the person or persons who filed these reports.
No. She actually deleted all of her social media after that. That woman who, yeah, that woman who was jealous about that person, with the pet squirrel getting all the 500,000 Instagram followers. Yeah, she deleted all of her social media and just got off the internet because people were pissed that she did this. Yeah, there you go, Karen. I mean, like, what the hell? What do you expect? That's what happened. So I've heard.
And supposedly the officer who basically barged into the place, and that was also, it was a woman who was literally named Karen.
No, it wasn't. Really? Okay, that's just icing on the cake. I mean, that's just a coincidence, but this is just a very tragic story about government overreach. They killed this man's pets. This poor little squirrel. Oh my god, Joel, you must be fuming right now. Oh my goodness. Imagine the squirrel community's outrage.
I know, and the squirrels will take back our vengeance.
Well, not just the squirrels, even all the squirrel supporters. Have you seen all the artwork, even like the AI stuff? Just
Yeah,
everyone
absolutely.
supporting it. All the
There,
viral
oh,
memes, videos. Everyone's talking about it. Even
yeah,
presidential candidates are talking about him.
yeah. Like it got to the point where even Mr. Trump himself, the Orange Man, has had to issue a statement. It's absolutely insane. And not
Yeah.
only that, but big figures too, like Elon Musk, were also talking about it as well. The death of both Peanut and Fred.
Yes, I believe Elon said that when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, like right before the election, because uh, Peanut and Fred unfortunately were euthanized. Like I think a week and a half or so, maybe a week before the election. Like it was very close. and everyone saw this happen, and they're like, "What the hell?" See, I've never even I don't even know who Peanut was before this. I just never even heard of him before, but now that I have, I'm just like, wow, that's really sad. But now he became like a MAGA symbol. Somehow, I'm not really sure
And
how that
somehow
happened,
he
but
became,
maybe
and somehow, yes, there are articles that are saying that Peanut has become a right-wing symbol. Somehow,
yeah,
they're not sure
how?
how
Like,
that
how did that
happened,
happen?
but
Is it because of like the government overreach just coming in to like kill your pets because you didn't have the proper paperwork? Like, show me thy papers, my Führer. Jeez.
Yeah, Avera, you need to understand squirrels are generally not domestic animals, so it'd be the same thing here in Australia if someone had a blue-tongued lizard or something and they wanted to keep it as a pet. It's either no, you
Yeah, you
can't, or
see,
you have to have paperwork.
and the United States is a little bit different, though. See, there are some states where it's totally legal to have like a pet alligator or a pet zebra. Like, you don't need a permit. Hell, that's why people have like pet lions and shit. I mean, it's dangerous, but like you can still do it in certain states. But there are some states that are very, very particular. Like in New York, you can't have a pet squirrel, even though squirrels are literally everywhere. Like, you see them on the side of the road like dead because like there's just so damn many of them. But yeah, they're everywhere. So what? You can't have a domesticated one? Like you can have a pet rat, but you can't have a pet squirrel? I mean, like really? That's
Is that
stupid.
what the law states? And that you can, but you have to have the
Yeah.
right paperwork? Well,
Yeah. Yes. You need to have a permit.
Also, I just want to take note of this is that actually, just so people don't get the wrong idea, but generally, it is a bad idea to basically get a wild animal from its natural habitat and like keep it as a pet. Like that's cool. Wild animals should stay in the wild. However, in this case, the squirrel uh was actually was it like abandoned from as a
It
baby?
was a yes, it was a baby. Basically, the owner, he saw his mother got hit by a car and died, and then he took in the baby squirrel and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
raised it. So
yeah. That's. I mean, at that point on, when it's raised, I mean, usually the term is tamed, not domesticated, because squirrels can't be domesticated. In this case, it's tamed so that it doesn't, so it's not as aggressive or as frightened as the normal squirrels in the wild are. But the point is that squirrel couldn't be let into the wild because it got used to the environment that it was. Therefore, the only ways that squirrel would survive is to stay in that home. And in those
that's right.
cases,
That's right.
yes. In those cases, yes. Uh, like they should stay like in that home for the rest of their lives because they can't go in the wild. They'll die. You know.
See, unfortunately, that is the case with a lot of rescue animals. Like, if they get injured or if they grow up in captivity, they're not able to be reintroduced into the wild because they would be at such a disadvantage. They would just die. They're better off being used as education or perhaps in zoos
Well,
and
just
or
be kept
for
in
scientific study stuff like that.
just be kept in captivity. That's kept in safety of
I mean, keeping them alive, like I understand that, like, it, yeah, it's a very complicated field for sure.
yeah. But I want to firstly share with you. There's a lot of amazing pictures among other things of both, the late Peanut and Fred, both memorially and AI generated. It's
Oh,
What?
and for those of you guys who don't know, they also wait. They did kill Fred the raccoon.
they
Because
did.
they wanted to test. they wanted to test both of these animals for rabies, and again, the only way to do that is if the animal is dead. And there was, in my humble opinion, there was no reason to test them for rabies because they were indoor animals. They were maybe not domesticated, as good point, Malagos. They were tamed, though. Like they grew up either in captivity or
Yeah.
I think that the raccoon was like a baby when he rescued it. So it's used to human contact, and
Isn't there?
this was just
Aren't
unnecessary. I
there
mean, this was just so heartbreaking. Yeah.
with rabies? Weren't there general signs in behavior?
Yeah. Yeah, because rabies are, well, I mean, animals in captivity can hardly get rabies. Like the only way they can get rabies is by getting bitten by another rabies infested animal. And in
Huh?
the wild, that's actually a common thing. But in the captivity, not so much. So yeah, there are actually signs that the animal has rabies.
Oh, their signs are right. Now, imagine rabies is like a zombie infection. In fact,
Yeah,
that's kind of how the
Well,
Crippen virus was sort of kind of spread.
you could say
Anyways,
that like that. Yeah,
but
what
yeah,
about
so it's only infected like by animals that are infected. It is actually a lot more rare than you think. But if someone has a pet raccoon, chances are the raccoon is probably fine because if it actually had rabies, within 2 weeks it will be dead.
there
So
is
it's not
actually
going to be having rabies anymore. They had that squirrel for 7 years. If the squirrel had rabies, no, it didn't have rabies because it would have been no, it would have died.
there
Like
is
stop
actually
it.
a good advice that I've had, like that basically said if you see a wild animal in the wilderness, like a squirrel
Huh?
like a squirrel, for example, and
Yeah.
if you approach it and it doesn't run away from you, there is a chance that it might have rabies, and you should not and you should definitely stay away from it, or else it might bite. Because animals that have rabies, they don't have the fear like they, because they're rabbits. They'll bite anyone that they see. So uh,
Malagos,
what?
you should probably be a little bit more clear around that. You're referring to a wild animal,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
one
a
that
wild animal.
is
Yeah,
quote
yeah,
unquote been tamed,
Yeah.
because
yeah,
tamed
yeah.
ones generally not going to flee the second they see you,
All I'm
especially
saying
if
is,
they're used to
when you
meeting
see a
other
wild
people.
animal in the wild and it doesn't run away from you, because normally wild animals do run away from humans, but like
The
if it
thing
doesn't
is,
run away from you, it might have rabies, and you should probably not
no.
approach it.
Okay, that's a very good point. Now, I learned this when I was in Boy Scouts, actually. Like, we were taught this. If an animal is curious and comes up to you, do not approach it, okay? Like, you just don't approach wild animals, especially, like, if it's, like a raccoon or a possum or something.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. The, hmm,
we've all learned that in camp. We've all
we
learned
did, yes.
But
Now,
that. Oh,
yeah, I don't
The,
like I
the,
said,
the
I
thing
don't
is,
think this
though, okay, here's what I was actually getting at. The thing is, um, okay, Peanut, he was not a wild animal. He was a
tamed.
tamed pet. He was for years. He grew up with humans. He lived inside. He was a legit, no different than your pet gerbil or your pet chinchilla or whatever, like or ferret. He was just your pet. And then this agency came in, and because they said you don't have the proper paperwork and this is technically a wild animal and we have to go test him for rabies because this poor thing was fucking terrified when this agent tried to grab him, and yeah, of course it bit her. I mean why wouldn't it? I would if I was that poor little thing. I'd be scared for my life. and rightfully so. Turns out they're like, you know what, we have to go test it for rabies, and then they killed him. And Fred the raccoon. I don't know why they did that. Fred didn't do anything, as far as I know. I haven't seen any articles about
Because
what happened to Fred. What happened there?
It's because
Why did they
raccoons.
kill him?
It's because raccoons are actually one of the known animals that they might contain rabies, just like with the hedgehogs as well.
Okay. Here's a fun fact. Actually, you guys didn't know this. I actually just learned this last week. Do you guys know which animal is the highest vector for rabies in the United States?
Which one?
It's cats. Feral cats.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like lynx?
Like pet cats.
Oh no, pet cats.
Or
Domesticated
pet cats that go outside, or sometimes like if you don't spay or neuter your cats, then they go out and they have feral cats. Dude, yeah, cats. They kill the most birds, and they have the highest vector for that disease. Yeah, it's fucking true. Crazy to think about, but if you think about it, cats are very invasive. So yeah, that's really the biggest concern. I don't know why in the hell they would. This poor little squirrel, man, he was so cool. He had so many followers. Oh my goodness, I can't even believe this. Like it's actually very heartbreaking to see. He had so many fans. This is government overreach, and I think that's probably why he's like a I don't know, a Republican or more conservative kind of mascot.
Yeah, why you could say that's why he's become a figure of it in that case.
Right.
And
because we support free speech. Yeah, so that's probably why.
And then now it's like it's so shocking that it's just become, if you value the lives of your pets, vote Trump.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
did you really vote Trump because of squirrel? Yeah, it did.
No,
and so you
know what? I'm willing to bet some people voted Trump because of the squirrel. Yeah, you know what? They're like, hey,
like I've seen
that's
people,
too far.
On their way to the thing and saying, why they're voting for Peanut, Trump to, Peanut and Fred basically gave them the impetus to vote for Trump.
Man, look at this. This is so. I mean, it's true. It really
one interesting
is.
fact
You see this
is, do you know also which animal died? A famous one before Trump got elected in 2016.
Was it the ape?
Harambe.
Yeah, Harambe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Harambe,
why
right?
you're now seeing a lot of like Harambe memes too. Like Peanut and Fred are going to hang out with Harambe and that.
Was that the same ape that was with Robin Williams?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this is different because this really showed like alt leftist government overreach. Like,
yeah,
you didn't file your paperwork correctly. Show me thy papers, and now we're going to go kill your pets.
Yeah, it's more like
that is evil. Really, like that's messed up, man. Like, what the hell?
Right to the point where, like, if that was the case, like people learning, the government's willing to kill your pets on a whim, then yes.
It was 7 years he was super popular, like all over the damn place. I mean, my goodness, what happened?
Right. But
that's the thing.
In the end, to as much as I would love to continue this, in the end,
I know.
Peanut and Fred are immortal. They live on because guess who made an appearance in? Guess who was seen scurrying around in one of the in a speech? A squirrel. Guess.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god, I totally forgot about this. Yes, you're right. So during the what was it? Her was it Biden or
it was Harris's concession speech.
Kamala Harris speech, right?
Yes. A squirrel was quite promptly seen on
Cackling Harris.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. As you can see, this is the Vice President of the United States. Kamala Harris.
Also
And
And
this
there
known
is
as
a
squirrel
Eileen.
popped up on there, and this is days after poor Peanut's untimely murder. And this squirrel just popped up in there just to give a big, "Ah, fuck you, Kamala." Yeah, right on.
yeah. See, there's another angle of
So
it too.
funny.
Just right on the back.
Even animals hate Kamala.
Yeah, this is so random. I mean, sometimes we get animal moments like this. Remember when like the freaking like eagle landed on Trump's podium or some bullshit like that? Like that was wild.
You know,
Might
it's
be a sign.
almost yeah, it's almost as if somebody is really watching over all of this.
It's a sign. We're seeing the signs, man. Yeah. Amen.
Indeed. It's like yeah, God has a sense of humor and and Peanut spirit is forever. He lives on.
I couldn't believe that happened, dude. Like the fact that a squirrel. Oh my god. Like at that moment, bro, you can't make this up. Like we live in a simulation. Like that was wild. Come on.
A glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. But all in though, it's yes. It really is something though. But in the end though,
Mhm.
I will once more say again, Peanut Fred will forever live on in our hearts. And the day will come when squirrels will enact their righteous fury.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
Now then, to follow from this though, it's been a very, very wild couple of days, and and only then. Now we're not gonna make this super politicized, but we're gonna see like how the furries, how the furry community at large has reacted to Orange being bad once again.
Oh
Just
god.
Arrow! Yes, indeed. I definitely I'm very much looking forward to all of this. Now,
right.
granted, guys, as a representative of the Furry Raiders, I do just want to say, no matter who won or lost, we would still be basking in all of the juicy memes. So please do
Naturally.
enjoy all of this amazingness.
Either way, like it doesn't. No matter what happens, like or who won, like the Free Raiders will still remain committed to fulfilling our mission. In furry
Yeah.
time in the furry community. So
Mm.
let's see how a lot of furries are reacting to all of this in
No.
in the scenes. So let me start with one. Like there is a lot of it. There's no shortage of it. I will say that. So we have Fur Planet Productions, one of the premier dealers in the furry community. They specialize in books and whatnot. They say, just a reminder that if Trump wins and Project 2025 comes about, our company is fucked along with other furry publishers and most furry content providers. Well, one of the boxes is ticked, and well, the other you can say whatever you want about it, but
Hmm.
it's kind of a funny thing. It's just so yes, you've got in this case you've got furry dealers, furry fursuit makers, all of that, like publishers and all of that, basically going ham up in arms and just not we're screwed.
So,
See,
what exactly are they referring to that's going to be a problem? Because I always thought using counterfeit money to purchase stuff at Furcons was more of an issue.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, they're just basically boycotting they're deciding that boycott the United States of America because orange is bad again, and Project 2025 is going to be a real thing, and they're like, oh, porn is going to be illegal again and whatnot, blah blah.
orange is the best color. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Orange is great.
Whining mortals.
Yeah, like let's say that we got another fursuit maker who says They're opening up a raffle, free fursuit head giveaway, and we will use this post to say that we will, Firewolf Studio, we will use this post to say that we will not work with Trump supporters.
Okay, see,
Why?
this is where like the hypocrisy comes in here, because if you want to make money, furries, for some reason, despite them being mostly alt leftists, well, hijacked by alt leftists, but like, furries spend a lot of money. Like, let's just be real, we do. Like, people will gladly spend $2,000 on a fursuit instead of like a payment on a car or something. Okay.
Yeah, doesn't mean it's the best decision.
I don't understand why you would want to alienate any of your customers, political beliefs or not. Like, people who do this, they're not very smart business people. You know what? Okay. Let's say if I was super radically politically one way, but if you didn't agree with me, then I don't want to do business with you. No, that's retarded. Why would you want to do that? I'd be like, bro, you want to spend $1,000 on my merch? Absolutely, I'm all for it. Like, why are they alienating customers? That's the whole thing about go woke, go broke. They're doing this to themselves, and that now they're going to get all upset and angry, and then blame racism and misogyny and homophobia
Yeah.
or some bullshit. But they'll be like, but I told them not to buy from me because I disagree with you. Like, it's the hypocritical bullshit, man. It's stupid.
They're the real big. They're the real big.
Yeah, and it's like, and then they're gonna be asking yourself, why am I so broke, and what have you, and
And that's why. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words.
So I think so I think that like the entire furry community missed the point of being a furry. I mean, it started off like as kind of like being a fan of anthropomorphic animals, liking Disney cartoons and all that, and that was like up until 2016, I think, like when they start when in my opinion when Tumblr leaks started happening, that's when the woke people started coming, and from that point on, every time you go on any social media like Twitter, and you basically want to some furries start like discussing politics and all that, and you basically say, well, I don't really care about politics, I'm a furry because like I like anthropomorphic animal stuff, and they're like, but being a furry is a political thing. Like, you have to be like far left, pro LGBT, whatever that.
Yeah.
In order to be because a large group of the furries are part of the minority LGBT whatever, and I'm like, and I was like talking to these people, and I'm like, but that doesn't really make sense. And like, how does that make not sense? And like, because you have video games, the majority of the people who play video games are straight males. But does that mean that the entire video game industry should revolve around straight males? No, because you see, it's all about basically identity politics for these people.
Now, that's a big part of it, though. But you know what, though, I have just the right kind of reaction for such a person. Like, oh, but people who love furries, the whole, yeah, you're right. Like the uber political types. I know. Here's the reaction to like. I wonder how the quote unquote no politics in the fandom, just good vibes, ooh woo furries are gonna feel when they can't afford cons anymore. They can't afford art or fursuit commissions anymore. Most NSFW artists they claim to love start getting deplatformed due to Project 2025.
Wait, is this a joke? Like, because this sounds like the opposite of what's going to happen. Like, of course, prices are going to get lower. Of course, inflation's going to get better. Of course. What are they talking about?
This is
That
this is
because
just a
we voted
stupid
for
argument.
Trump, like things are gonna be bad. No, this is silly. This is like super backwards because they think that like the apocalypse is happening, but it's not. That's amazing.
Okay, so like you said, I agree with your points. One, they can't afford content more. Nah, honestly, I think, I think events and all that will become more accessible money wise. Fursuits, well, I mean, aside from inflation, cost of living, and all that, probably be more accessible. And point three, honestly, if they're panicking about friggin' porn, I think a removal of porn will basically make the whole fandom healthier.
In some ways, yeah, I think the main problem with, like, that's just my opinion. I know there are a lot of people who are big into porn and all, but I think generally porn is okay in like if you're not like like an addict to it, which unfortunately a lot of people on social media are porn addicts, and like them thinking, well, actually, first off, Trump winning will not actually affect porn in any way. Like, I generally don't believe all those stories where they say that if Trump wins, he'll ban porn. That's just pure bullshit. All that. And secondly, like, really, you shouldn't really like. This is like the entire stupid argument. Like, it's like saying like if your entire life revolves around NSFW art, I think you should really reevaluate your life. Like, your. I mean, maybe just maybe you might really be too much into this entire porn thing, and should maybe a little cool off with it. But to try explaining that to these people, they were like, "Oh, well, I need to basically jerk off 24 hours. Like, it's part of my identity."
Right, like, and I was seeing, so on Twitter, I was unironically seeing, furries basically say on their tweets, say, "Vote Kamala, think about the boobs."
But like, if that's the argument, like, I thought if Trump is pro family, he wants more people to, like, give birth to kids and all that. But
Right, that's the thing.
but
It's
but but seriously, I hate this entire argument of, oh, you should vote for Kamala because if you don't, there will be no porn and because it's a bullshit
Yeah. Okay.
argument.
Okay, bro. Let's just take a step back for a second. That's obviously just a scare tactic. That's bullshit. Porn's never gonna be illegal. That's never gonna happen. And at this point, who gives a fuck because she lost, because she's a loser, and no one should even care about her anymore or even talk about this stupid bitch. No one should even care, okay? Whatever.
Exactly.
We're good, right? It's fine. So just forget it.
exactly
Trump was already president, and I'm pretty sure that no
Actually,
gay people went to concentration camps.
that's a good
That didn't happen. So
that's a very good argument. Like, Trump was already president for 4 years, and like
nothing
during those
bad
four
happened.
years,
In fact, gas
exactly
prices were like half the price they were now. Groceries were affordable. Now, again, I don't want to get too political. We should really be focusing more on like our furry
right.
responses
And
to the
what
election, because right now the furry fandom had a lot to say about this election. Oh, mind you.
exactly? And now there's more. Like, we've got vendors who are pulling out of American conventions.
Uh-huh.
Take a look at Nomad Complex, for example. You know,
As he's
All
done.
right.
that as a Canadian owned and operated business, we are required to import our goods into the United States as well as obtain specific visas in order to sell physical merchandise. Dot dot dot. Given the devastating results of the election, we have made the
devastating
extremely
results of the
difficult
election.
decision to withdraw our booth from Midwest Fur Fest.
My goodness. All right.
See,
well,
that's what I'm talking about. Like this media has brainwashed furry fandom so much to the point that they think that if this orange man wins, like it will be ruined. Like furry fandom will be destroyed. Like they'll be sent to concentration camps and all that. Like and the thing is, he was already president back like in 2016. Did
Short-term
you
memory loss seems to be a
you
convenient
people
thing,
have
but
nothing changed.
yeah,
Actually, it actually did. Like Tumblr basically banned porn, and everyone moved to Twitter, and that's where chaos started.
oh man, that was the worst business decision Tumblr could ever possibly have made. They lost like
that's
over
partially why
33%.
that's partially why we have woke furries in the communities, because it's because a lot of those woke people came from Tumblr. And once the Tumblr basically opened the floodgates, then they went into furry fandoms, and people, instead of the furry fandoms, said like, fuck off. They let them in, and now see where we are right now.
Not only from Tumblr, but also from TikTok too. Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
man. So now, what a big loss, right? Like we're basically Midwest Fur Fest is going to be out of a couple of Canadian dealers, all because they don't want to come to the United States. Oh no! However shall furries get their merchandise?
Don't know.
Yeah, like if they what are they gonna do? Like if they basically decide to do a big boycotting of like selling stuff to the US, well, I don't know. You do you, but gotta find a new market elsewhere.
It's I always had like this joke like with Jolt like a few months ago, where it basically said the furries are, at least not all of them, but there's a good part of them, they're like financially irresponsible. Like they would go to a con, spend
Yes,
thousands and thousands of dollars on a con, and they go back home, and they can't pay rent, they can't pay gas, and they go to GoFundMe and beg
yeah,
on
and
Twitter to.
and as a completely unrelated reaction to this whole thing, like there was a woman that basically lost her mind saying about the cheap gas prices, right? I
Yeah,
think you sent this to me the other day, Tim.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Like where are the priorities in that?
Like for some reason, also people think that Trump knows about furries and he'll send them to a death camp.
Right. That's
And
the
I'm like,
funniest
and
thing
I
I'm
always like,
laughing about.
dude, he's so old. He doesn't know what a furry is. Nor if he knew it, I don't think he would care much. Like,
Not really.
yeah, like it's just like one small, like it's just some people dressed as furry animals. Yeah, so like
It's just basically a bunch of people dressing up in that sort of thing, and I don't think Trump would really care.
Oh,
I don't. I honestly really don't think he. I think he has much more important things than caring about fucking people in stuffed animal suits. Doing thing.
right.
Precisely. But you know what though? I think the salt has just been like really, really, really off the charts crazy. Like you've got you got mass hysteria. You've got like this is going to be the end of FurCons as we know it, and all of that, and a lot more.
Man, if him winning means furry's going back to like year 2000, then I'll hail Trump. I want furry community back, like when things were much simpler. Nobody really cared what you
Right,
voted for.
like the whole no politics, just good vibes, woo. like the guy said.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey guys, I'm sorry about that.
Like, I
My
used to
thing crashed
remember
on me. My
when the
goodness.
furry fandom wasn't really about politics when I was first becoming a furry. And I was a furry when I was like I started becoming one technically when I was like 12. So
Yeah, to me, I was like, well, I was like, um, 14, 15 when I basically in those like MSN groups, and I don't remember anyone in those groups talking about Obama, Romney.
No,
Nobody talked. Maybe
nah,
somebody would eventually come a top, but it would just be just a small topic, small talk, and that's it. It wasn't
Well,
so,
Obama was super popular like on Facebook and stuff, like back in the day. He was like the social media president.
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. But nobody really cared if you like. My point was nobody really cared if you voted for Romney or Obama and stuff. It just I remember it
Oh no, no,
being
like
just one small
you
talk, and
wouldn't get canceled
uh,
from your job.
yeah.
yeah, no, I
And
mean, you're
nowadays,
right.
now in furry fan, if they found like we've come to the such a point that if they find out that you voted for Trump, you're going to be canceled, kicked out of every con. People are going to call you like you're like the worst thing ever happened. Like it's all that.
No, no, no. Malagos, the important thing is just the idea. It doesn't. Something doesn't have to be true for someone to get cancelled. Take Rick and Morty, for instance. Now, what was that actor's name called? I forget. He played He was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp.
What was his name?
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Did you find out the shit his ex-wife was getting up to? I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. It doesn't matter if you've. It doesn't matter what the facts are. What matters is what people believe. That is it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
right
and
now this
that's what
entire
we ended
Good
up with
point.
the situations we're in. That's why we ended up with Thingo of Peanut and Fred getting done in because somebody believed in their own insecurities and shit and jealousy.
No,
And
it was down to someone saying, I'm not going to put up with this and doing everything they possibly can to, yeah, pretty much murder and pour in as an animal. Two of them
yeah,
in this case.
yeah, man, that's pretty much where the landscape is now. But in that said, though, yeah, like aside from all that, like if you're gonna be spewing doom and gloom about the state of the furry community in the next 4 years, then more power to you. But for those of us who really love and care about freedom, I mean, it's your chance to say like, and I like look, I couldn't resist. I as much as I want to resist saying these two words again. Well, you could probably say that furry might just become great again.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Make furry great again.
So yeah, now
Motherfucker.
that's it, man. Orange Jogger, you gotta lead the charge. You're the one in the power now.
I'm the most orange doggo. People saw me. They said I was an orange doggo. I didn't believe it, but I'm the most orange doggo. So I guess I should just go do it. I suppose. I'm here for America, the most orange America. I love America. It's great.
All right, now to I guess now we to move away on from all of this though. We're yeah, got some other items for you. Really, really fun, outlandish items this time though. And to start with this what to start, we have a thing we're following on from a persistent thing that we've been chasing up with. You know, Palworld is we all know Palworld is getting sued by Pokemon, but now here's what's up. And now, so what's happening is you know what? Palworld is getting sued by Pokemon because, supposedly for infringing on the patterns that the Pokemon Company may have seemed to rush out. And for each of the violations, Pokemon is demanding about 10 million yen for each of the patents. So they're suing them. Power World for at least $33,000 for each patent,
Yes.
that they've been infringing. Which again, it is quite a bit of a slap.
This is something very interesting. In fact, something I was just looking into earlier. When I saw 10 million yen, I was like, wow, what does that even equate to? Apparently, it's only $33,000 US American dollars per violation. So the thing is, I don't think Nintendo even needs to do this lawsuit. I was kind of like trying to do my math in the head, and yeah, Nintendo makes so much damn money per year. This lawsuit is trivial to them. Either
Right.
they're trying to use this to make an example of someone, or I'm not entirely sure what their political motives
They're
even
really
are, who's involved.
Vera, there's nothing political about this. For crying out loud, do you know what fight this actually is? Who
Oh, you didn't
bought?
see the money involved? What?
Hey, who bought
bought
Pocket
what?
Power?
Who
Who who has Pocket Power, Pal, or Pair, or whatever? The company that owns Power World.
Yeah, Pocket Pair.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is associating with them?
Well, they just basically own the game that Power World.
Sony.
Yes, that's right. Because Sony decided to buddy up with Pocket Pair and to make Power World even more popular.
Now, why is Sony and Nintendo pissed at each other?
Because they're rival gaming firms.
No. Because back in the
Yeah,
day, there was the Sony space PlayStation that Nintendo and Sony were working on together until Nintendo said, fuck this shit, and went with Philips, a foreign company. The Nintendo Corporation and Sony, if you stuck them in, if they were turned to one person each and you put them in a room, they would try to kill each other.
Holy bonkers.
The only reason why Power World blew up like this, the only reason why Sony went, fuck this shit, Nintendo went, fuck this and file these lawsuits, is because Sony is now associated with Power World. That's why. No other reason. This is nothing but corporate game. That's it.
So, how does this affect gamers, you think? Is this a bad thing
really
or
at
a
all,
good
if anything.
thing?
It's basically
right? It's
just
more
them.
of corporate deals, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it.
My understanding is that in Japan, all that's going to happen is this should only affect Power World, the outcome of, the court case.
So, what? Do you think that
if
they might
Nintendo
be paying higher fines or something along those lines?
In the future, now technically Power World may get shut down depending on what how the judge wants to move forward with this by that point in time. However, this will only happen to another company that produces a game like Pokemon if Nintendo goes, yeah, no, you just push the wrong buttons. It could be a carbon copy of Power World with different monsters, still with the guns, but unless a corporation gets involved, that Nintendo go, yeah, no, fuck this, then there's nothing. This is nothing but Nintendo going, oh shit, we may get the rug pulled out from underneath us that they're even doing it because Sony is involved.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Dun dun dun.
The plot thickens.
I would just say it thickens more of bureaucratic corporate nonsense, but okay.
If you want to understand the drama behind this, go look up. There's plenty of videos about it. There's plenty of write-ups about it. The original Sony Space PlayStation. The
Okay.
drama behind that will explain why Nintendo and Sony are at each other's throats constantly. Why they will not buddy up.
Oh yeah, that thing. Why Nintendo basically fucked itself.
Ouch.
All right. So, what exactly is Powell being taken to court for? These patents?
Please.
Like, yes. I mean, apart from the
Ooh.
Sony thing, I mean, of course, there are 3 patents that Powell has supposedly infringed, and that Pokemon has rushed them out. Like, and they applied for the patent on July 30th, and then registered it on August 27th. Like, and then within a span of just months, in all in the same year. The same year that Power World came out.
Jolt,
Yeah.
can you bring up the release date of Power World? Not when the ads first came out about it, but the actual game's official release date.
I remember it being January 19th, 2024 is my that's correct. Yep, January 19th, 2024.
I love this. Nintendo.
And it's like, I mean, let's be real here. Nintendo actually they eventually did intend to sue Power World. It's just, I think you could probably argue that them partnering with Sony just pretty much gave them push the fuck this button, I'm suing them. But yeah, no, it's but the only grounds that Nintendo seems to have been able to sue them are just on the grounds of patents, which are the patent to capture a monster, to fire an item towards a character, and then it triggers a combat, and capturing a monster in an item, and the third one, claim a modification to the invention of riding creatures in an open world, and being able to transition between them easily. So really,
now Pokemon Red and Blue, was it, or Red and Green? What day were they released?
I
when
believe they were
specifically?
released in 1996.
Nintendo had more than 2 decades to file these patents and get them, processed and everything.
Yeah, quick correction. 1998, I'd say.
Is
Either
that
way,
the Japanese
they had
release?
well over 2 decades to file these patents and all that.
Now, I'm sorry, but to me that reads as someone being a troll.
No, not troll. Like someone being, petty and spiteful. And of all of them, though, they decided to just lowball Power World for only 10 million yen. They could have just gone a lot higher than that. Power World right now is they're not concerned with money. They swam in it in friggin' January and February with with it exploding, and now they have the backing of Sony. I think Power World will get through it just fine. Don't you?
Yeah. I think Nintendo will actually lose this. It's not the first time that Nintendo actually tried to do something like this.
True. They'll probably they'll most certainly keep going through and just to make an example out of Power World. But I guess one can only wait and see. But yeah. Now, we've got another item to go through for you, just here, and this is a bit of a bizarre one. Now, to move on, we have this one here. Web Phishing's new update gives a reactionary troll what they asked for in the funniest way possible. Yeah, no, that if you depending on how you look at how this was all done, yeah, I probably wouldn't
Given,
agree. I probably
gi-
wouldn't agree that this is the thing. This is just basic. Yeah,
given that this is an article from
in
from Inverse from and it's written by a gaming journalist, there's bound to be some biases.
right. Like this is basically like you'd argue that this is the lefty version of fuck around and find out.
Yeah,
True. And
since
so like
since the like the people that criticize, kind of like this identity politics in the games, and they're basically being labeled by these media as right wing trolls, Trump supporters, whatever. Like all the labels.
right.
Nazis, fascists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so to get to some bit of context about this, so what we have is a multiplayer online fishing game. You can get this on Steam called Web Fishing. And so they took out a couple. They put a whole bunch of updates now, and under patch notes, let me show you the page on Steam right now. The patch notes. They
yeah.
call this the
Actually,
yeah.
I'm looking at it. 1.09.
Yeah, they call this the cleaning out the trash up. So let me just screen share this for you to see. Oh geez, no, Steam is being iffy right now. In fact, no, I'll read this out for you. Let me read this out for you. Web phishing house cleaning update basically contains a lot of stuff, but the things that you need to know about really are they've added a lot of cosmetic items like titles and shirts and some of the things they've added are yeah, hang on, let me all right, I think I might got this behaved. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay. Got it. Got it now.
Hey, I'm
Here we
back.
go. You're back? Okay, sweet.
We
I was
good?
cut out.
Okay.
All right. So what they added into the game, web phishing, they added a non-binary shirt, a non-binary title, a
Oh
creator
my
title, a
god.
crypto title, and then they added a straight title which costs $9,999.
What
In
the
game,
fuck?
not in game, not real money.
Yo,
In game.
that's
So
weird.
this is where I have to ask the question: does this game have any kind of like messaging about how they're welcoming and all that sort of shit,
All
accepting
right.
of all
Yeah.
peoples?
Yeah.
I mean, as
Of course they do.
I can't say for sure. Well, in Estingo because I have yet to play it, so I can't comment on that. But the sheer fact of the matter is that they added all of this into the into a game like this is saying something. Like what exactly are the developers trying to say here?
What they're saying is that they really, really want to pander to the like rainbow audience, and a lot of people are like probably. I would imagine this is how it went on Discord or whatever they have. They started like probably talking about the whole election thing and how it's going to affect people. So, and somebody probably saying when they said, shut the fuck up. All I want to do is play the fucking fishing game. I don't fucking care about identity politics or never." And the dev probably got really upset about it
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
probably added
Now
this because
here's
because you
yeah
know
here's what happened. Here's what
they
the
want to throw
sequence goes.
in
As spotted, by Rock Paper Shotgun, another friggin' trash frag. This edition seems to have come due to a request from a player on the Steam forums asking why. The game offers titles including gay, trans, pan, and bi, but nothing for straights. Well, emphasis poor oppressed by inverse, but you know.
So it all comes down to like, why are you why are you pandering so much to these non-existent people when majority of your audience are
Yeah.
just like, it's kind of like in videos, the majority of your audience is going to be males who are most likely heterosexual, and just minor one of those audience are going to be non-heterosexuals who probably don't really give a shit about pandering.
I'm sorry.
And
Oh, what was the name of this game?
Web
web phishing.
phishing.
Oh, that's the one that did this. Oh boy.
Yeah, and what it seems like is somebody on Steam forums said, jokingly said, you have so many things basically pandering to, these rainbow people. So how about you pander to your majority of your audience, the straight people? It's probably meant as a joke, but the developer got offended for it and basically did this because, saying, "Oh, I don't need to pander to straight people. Straight people are not oppressed." Like, and probably just tried to make fun of it, but it ended up being like very cringe.
Yeah. I know.
And
I know
they
what you
and
mean. I
they
know what you mean.
they think that, oh, straight people are boring and all that nonsense.
Maybe.
It's basically like developers probably, I would guess, because of this reaction, developers probably one of those people that probably think that this whole election thing will affect their life and that will ruin their project 2025 whatever, and somebody probably said, shut the hell up, shut up about your daddy politics, just like update the damn game, and the developer got upset and did this.
I think what a lot of people generally forget is that this company has chosen to effectively attack a particular group. Now,
Majority.
what's going to happen if another group is basically shunned? The same thing. And if you're in that particular group that gets attacked next,
They
how
won't
are you
buy
going
the
to
game.
feel?
I
They
know groups are being attacked. That there's no oppressed group, minorities. The only oppressed group is like straight white males being called, your privilege and all that nonsense. Aside from that, nobody's oppressed in Western countries. We're all pretty much equal. Everything's all well and good. I don't know what the hell they're all complaining about. It just gets a little weird
Yeah.
sometimes.
Now here's the funny part about all of this stuff. Want to quickly share with you. All those other titles, like the bi one, the gay one, the trans one, only cost 75 in-game dollars, while the straight
Yeah,
one cost 9,999.
yeah,
And
sucker.
yeah, and here's the thing though, you like for if you are of a different mindset where you can see this as like motivational or inspirational, you could arguably say that that you could basically grind out like how you're gamers. You will basically grind stuff out for the biggest greatest rewards. You will
biggest straight.
basically grind out those $9,999 to get a straight title.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that because if depending on the gamer, like if they can see through the obvious political manipulation and lies, they might look at this and be like, "Hey, you know what? Screw you. I'm not going to give you my money." So, I don't know. Or my time or my effort. Maybe they'll give the game a bad review. Maybe they'll do something like that because if they see something like this which is clearly being used for political purposes for manipulation, maybe a popular streamer might not want to endorse the game, and then that might
We'll
affect
see.
their sales, and that might affect votes. That's the modern age right now. I mean, it's up to streamers and shit. Like nobody cares about what CNN says. People care more about like what frickin' Taylor Swift and crap like that. You know, that's crazy,
Yeah,
but it's true.
and I just find it very funny, yeah, that that they base that invest and all that and all those, and you could expect all those other lefty gaming sites to say, this is what happens when straight people fuck around and find out, in terms of the gay. I just
Yeah, it
love the
turns
whole
out most
projection thing.
gamers are straight.
So also, just to note, like when developers do this, they do this as more of a reflection of their own image. It means
Right.
that, like, you have to understand, like, gaming right now, in especially when, for instance, Dragon Age Veilguard, is that developers make games not because they want to appeal to the majority of their audience, like how normally games should, but they want to make an image of themselves,
Like
and
you're
that's
right. Like,
basically and that,
it's shown in the character design. It's shown in all that.
and also this reminds me of the of like last year, a game called Lunacid or Lunacid, whatever, came out of the early access, and in the version 1.0, the developer added the option to be non-binary, because his reasoning was, and I'm gonna produce his fuck this they them shit. The reason why is because um is because, first off, he's non-binary. He claims he's non-binary himself, and the second thing is because when he said he was going to add that, he was considering adding that. People on Steam said, "Why the fuck would you add that? You're just inviting more trouble, unnecessary identity politics, whatever." And then he said, "No, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to add that now, like, because it makes you guys mad." And he added that, and people got upset and
And
refunded the
I
game.
think I think that's precisely what what the guys at web pushing did, just because where the where the straight title at. And
Right.
yeah, but at the end of the day, though, your game, like how you handle the game and what kind of stuff you put in, is basically a reflection of the developers and the development team. Like you're right. That's why Veilguard is pretty much like as ugly and thingo as it is. That's why web pushing is just that. So yeah, but as things stand right now, I think that's pretty much what we've got for time. And so, what a week it's really been. That's all I want to say. Like, who'd just like who'd like to quickly wrap up with a closing statement amidst all this?
Huh. Let's start off with Azzy. What do you think about these stories this week?
Well, holy shit, it's been so much.
I
You
know,
know,
right?
yeah, yeah. uh, it's a lot to process because I w- I'm thinking about saying a lot, but for the sake of time, I'd rather not. Other than with the political shit, like, uh, all I gotta say is rest in peace, Peanut. Rest in peace, Peanut.
Yeah.
You will not. I mean, you will be missed, and we will fight for you. I'm on the squirrel side, even though I'm a wolf, but I'm on the squirrel side. But political,
Uh,
but 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 those with TDS, oh my god, it's just normal people with not normal people, but more like crazy ass people, but with TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So it's like it's just typical behavior. They just like they just like freak out and try to kill themselves and all that shit, and then try to blame us, in which their actions speak different. So it's like their actions crazy. They're just crazy.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
But the Power World and the Power World thing, I don't know that much about, even though we've covered the topic about it a few times. I haven't gotten too much research about the Power World stuff, but now as for the one that we last talked about, that's ridiculous. Like they're literally just pushing a fucking like
You'd say that they're incentivizing, you know, the whole,
yeah,
the alternate labels, and and
and
hampering the access to the straight label.
and yeah, it's like they're pushing an agenda against pretty much. It sounds like they're pushing an agenda against like straight people. Pretty much, they're pretty much, instead of homophobic, they're like heterophobic or something like
Yeah,
that.
they're on the guise of like, like Inverse says, like "fuck you, homophobes." But no,
Yeah,
that's just reverse and that's just projection.
yeah, they're more
Okay.
like heterophobes and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Who's up
yeah,
next for a statement?
How about me?
Yeah, let's go. What do you think?
Well, I have to admit that I went through a lot of popcorn watching the drama play out. The whole the Power World thing is just sorry, Nintendo. You're basically giving me reasons not to purchase from you again.
Hmm.
Killing a squirrel because you don't like how many views they've got. I wouldn't want to be that idiot. I'm sorry. Oh,
yeah,
you're killing an animal that's popular is you might as well be hanging people rope at that point. I love that. People need to learn that you keep track of what's going on and then think about how they move forward. That's all I gotta say.
All right, that leaves
All
another
right, all
gospel.
right.
I have enjoyed the salt mine from the election from both non-furries and furries alike, and I mean, as much as it's funny, it's also sad at the same time. Like how a fandom is supposed to, and I'm always gonna say this. Like, I don't care if like half of the fandoms are non-heterosexuals, because the entire point of furry fandom is fans of anthropomorphic animals, and that's it. That's all you need to know. There's no queer left or pro-abortion side. No, it's just anthropomorphic
yeah,
animals. If majority of them being there is not relevant, is irrelevant. It's like video games. Like, you have to be like straight male in order to enjoy video games. No, same thing with the furry fandom. And fuck anyone who else who basically wants to make furry fandom part of identity politics. It's not. Never was. All
yeah,
right, that's my statement.
Amen.
All right.
exactly.
Anything to round things out? Your orangeness.
Yes, well, like I said, it was a fantastic election. The greatest election I've ever seen. The most orange, the best orange.
Trump.
But yeah, well, um, not to get all political or anything, but I will say that I am feeling rather optimistic for the future. I really am. I think the economy is going to get better and things are going to be okay. And
Both those.
the thing is, a lot of people voted for this because of government overreach. And going back to the whole Peanut thing, my goodness, I didn't even know who Peanut the squirrel was before I even heard about this. And my goodness, he lives in my state, New York. And the fact that they are willing to use government resources to go euthanize someone's pets, they're domesticated, adorable little animals. Fred the raccoon. Let's not forget Fred the raccoon, uh, or a rescue animal as a baby. Same thing with Peanut, and I thought it was just absolutely disgusting and very very upsetting to see this. It's like, oh, he didn't have the right paperwork for these particular types of pets, which you can get the paperwork in these states to have those pets. But that was something that was very upsetting, just like to hear about. But you know what, man? I'm looking forward to a much better and brighter future. I'm a patriot, and all I have to say is I feel like we are unburdened by what has been, and now we can be unburdened by what the future has not will be not been. And that is why we are unburdened. Okay.
Lay off the weed, Avira.
That's it. God bless you guys. I'll see you next week.
God bless America.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you all for
All
tuning
right.
in. And I do hope you enjoyed listening to this as much as we did making this and chronicling the next chapter of of a story, and the story of not just the United States but also of the furry community and of the world. As always, our episodes are available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Player.fm, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more further down the line. And last of all, I will say this one more time: rest in peace, Peanut and Fred. May you live on in our hearts
Amen.
forever. You shall never be forgotten. And look
Make
forward to the
furries
day
great
where
again.
squirrels will enact their righteous fury.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Fred and Peanut.
Thank you. That is all the time we've got for this week. Until next time.
Make furries great again.
Later.